If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Yeah.
We can
So
see.
today, first we'll do is how we'll proceed is first we'll define those collection segments, profile, and the groups, right? Which is a kind of a org structure for the collection management module, because this is a prerequisite, right? Before we start off with the extension, right? For example, we want to extend the customer master data to the collection segments, or we want to assign the collection specialist. So we will see how we proceed onto this, right? So first of all, the part of your org structure, right, for the collection management module, right? So you have these three things, right? So first you have the collection segment. So how do you define this collection segment is basically based on the credit management group which you are having. So for example, let's say you have multiple company codes in the organization, and but you follow one specific credit control group, right, for them. So how you manage those customers using this credit control area, that will be defining how you define your collection segment. So let's say if you have one credit control area, right, shared across multiple company codes, you can use one collection segment, right? So it depends again how you have how you are managing the credit control profile for your customer, right? So that will be our first step. Then what we will be doing is, you can, if you want to group together, right, like let's say one of the maybe one of the collection agencies, let's say DNB, is following up for all the company codes which are in the US and the Canada region, right? So you can group together this collection segments, right, for all those regions under one collection profile, right? So this will be the next part. So where you have defined the types of org structure, like the collection segment, and you also have the collection profile, right? So this too we will be as a part of your initial org setup, right? So and now how it comes to the specialist, right? How you group together as a specialist. For example, in one of the teams, right, there are maybe 4 to 5 collection specialists who are there, right? So they can work interchangeably as well, right? Because for example, once a collection specialist is on leave or something, they can assign a substitute as well. So that's the reason we have this collection group, and the collection specialist can assign a substitute inside the collection group as well, when they are not available for doing the follow up. So we will be first proceeding ahead with this org structure. So let's see how we define the collection segment first.
Hey, sorry, just one quick question.
Yes, yeah.
So the collection specialist and collection group linkage is pretty straightforward. Yes, like there's multiple groups and collections specialist can be linked. What is the linkage of between how does the collection profile and collection group link to each other?
So basically, your collection groups, right, are assigned to the collection segments.
Correct.
So, and you group together collection segments under one profile, right? So does that explain? Okay, let me just draw it up so
Yeah,
that it
yeah.
will
If you
be.
can just explain a little bit more. See, collection segment, collection group, and collection specialist are pretty straightforward. What does
Yeah.
collection profile actually indicate, and how is that part of the whole uh, like integration between
Yeah.
all the other parts,
Yes,
all the
sure.
structure? Thanks.
Just, mm, this is to the map. Yeah. Yeah. So first we have. So this is my company code. Okay. Okay. And let's say we have maybe 2 or 3 company codes over here, right? And each corresponds to a credit control area, right?
Correct.
So what we are expecting here is, for each credit control area, let's say you will have the collection segments, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So collection segments over here. Now what you're doing is you're grouping these segments together to a collection profile. Why you are doing this, first of all? So that we know that the purpose of the collection profile is to group together which are the company codes which are participating in collection management, right? And which are the company code which are not participating in this collection management, right? So that is the purpose.
Okay,
Okay.
so profile is mainly just to activate whether it's participating in collections.
Yeah, so they
Start.
create a group. So for example, when you see that, okay, these are the collection segments and this is the collection profile that we have. So that
Mhm.
means like this collection profile groups together all the company codes, so you can get a complete picture of like, okay, how much is like which are the collection segments which are there under this collection profile, and then you can drill down to individual reports under each profile, each collection segment.
Okay,
Okay.
makes sense.
Now you have the collection groups, right? So for the collection specialist, under that we have the specialists which are there, right? So this collection group is assigned to the collection segments. This makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
if you don't mind, can you show this inside SAP?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we'll just show this on in the SAP also. No problem. Yeah, we'll just do it right away. Okay. So let's say we first define our collection segment. So let's say our company code is 1710, and we just define segment, right? Okay, so this is the company, this is the segment that we have defined, right? So as I've told you, so this company code, like let's say it depends again how you have grouped together your credit control area under the company code, right? So let's say we have one company code, so we assign it to here. So let's say we assign 1710 to this particular collection segment. Okay. Okay. So now you can also assign the credit segments. So we have not gone into the kind of the credit management yet. So once we go into the credit management, then maybe we'll define all the sections as well. So it will make more sense. So at the moment, let's say we stick onto this company code part over here and save it. So this one. So that means what we have done is we will be using this particular segment for all our collections. Right.
So,
Now what will happen is, let me just set it. Also you can set it up as before using this, right? They have this option of released. So once you release this, then only you will be able to use those collection segments.
correct.
Okay, so we will just wait for it. So once we set up all the org structure, then only we will release it. Okay. Now if you have multiple segment which has been created, right, you can also create a collection profile to group them. So and the purpose of the collection profile is what? To distinguish which are the company codes or which are participating in the collection management and which are the ones which are not, right? So that is the purpose. So same way we can just, if we just wanted to go through the config over here. So here you can assign the collection segments which are participating. So for example, this one, right, I am assigning it under this collection profile. Yeah, oh yeah, it's not assigned, released yet. Just a moment. So it's not allowing me to use it. No, just a moment. First we have just will release it, uh, and then only we can assign use it further. So So we'll just go back to here and then we'll just create it again. Yeah. And then we'll assign a segment at this place. Just this one. Right. So you can see that we have assigned the collection profile. So you have assigned the collection segment under this collection profile, and you can also see which are the company code for which it is used for, right? So it is assigned to 1710 company code. Okay, so even if you have, let's say, multiple other company codes which you want to assign later on to the collection profile, that can be, so you need to unrelease and they can assign that company code and do that, right? So that will be the next approach. So I think the collection segments and the collection profile is quite straightforward, right? So what we have in here is, so first of all, as we have mentioned, like it depends how you do the credit management in SAP. So if you have multiple company codes and one credit control area or a credit segment, then you group them together. If you have separate credit control area for each company code, then you create separate collection segment for them, right? So this is how we have gone through the collection segment, and yeah, so we have defined our collection segments as well. And what we have also done is we have assigned our company code, right, which belongs to this collection segment, right? And as I have mentioned, this we also have defined our collection profile, right? So which basically groups together the company code which are participating in the collection management. So once you create this collection profile, you assign it to the respective segments. Okay. Right. So now the thing which we'll be doing is we will be setting up the collection groups. Right. So let's define the collection groups over here. So let's say we are in we are participating in a healthcare industry, for example. Or like you would like to take some examples like which it can be useful for you in real time, like what are the type, I think you had given me there are the types of customers which you deal with, right? So it was kind of like, can you just recall like what were the type of customers earlier which you had? Like you can either have kind of external customer which is B2C or B2B, is that correct?
Yeah, resellers and direct customers.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we just select like this at the moment. We have two groups of specialists: collection specialists following up for the B2C and collection specialists following up for the B2B. And yes, so remember in the first class, right, we had discussed about kind of setting up the rules, right, on what basis the collection work list will be generated, and then we group those rules under one collection strategy, right? So
Right.
this you can assign your collection group to the collection strategy here. Okay, so let's see the collection strategy that I think we have created this Z collect. So you can have a different strategy for the B2B customers as well as the B2C customers, right? So like for the follow-up, maybe the reminders can be at like you can configure your reminders separately, right, in Dunning. But here also you can tell like for maybe the corporate customers, once it's overdue by more than 10 days, you need to consider them for the collection management. But for your maybe the B2B customers, right? So maybe you will be beginning this like follow up using this collection specialist maybe in 5 days or 3 days. So those are the different strategies you can adopt. And also the the credit score or the rating for the corporate customers will be quite different rather than the individual customers. So those also you can control over here. So using this strategy, the collection strategy which is specified here, right? So now what you do is, yes, here you assign those under this collection groups, right? You assign this collection specialist. So let me assign myself at the moment here. Okay. So this is the specialist maybe which I have assigned over here. And let me check. So in case, right, so you can have multiple specialists. So right now it is one. Let me check if I have some other user ID also which I can do assign. So let's say we have few collection specialists who are there. Okay, so these are all the collection specialists, right? So now let's say if this collection specialist is not available, whom it will assign this to, so that you can also define over here along with the start date and the end date, right? So this is done through like the config node. So basically before the collection specialist, let's say they are going on kind of leave or something like that, right? They can request the kind of the backup to be set up over here from which date to which date, right? This part. So for example, if I want to set up, let's say from 23rd of July, like for this particular specialist, I want to set up a backup. Like if this is not available, then it will go to this specialist. I can do it here. Does this make sense at the moment? So basically under, so you have a group of collection specialists who are there. So you basically assign those collection specialists under this node. So for example, under this B2C group, right? So those who are chasing the B2C customer, you have this specialist who are working on it. So you have the this three specialists. Now, if this specialist is on leave, right, you can assign the substitute over here. Okay, so the same way, whether he is on leave or not, you can also when two persons are doing the backup for each other, right, during a particular period of time, you can also assign for a longer duration, uh, like in this place, right? So, for example, from 01/08/2022 till 31/12, this will be always the backup for this person. So you can mention that. So whenever, let's say, item gets routed to this one, right, he will be kind of also able to work on those items. Like we can generate a work list so that he will be the backup collection specialist who will be working on those items in the work list belonging to this person. So this can be used. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I just had a quick question. Why this should be? Why is this a part of configuration, right? Because if someone is going on like a leave or something like that, that would be more on data as compared to configuration. Because we don't want to do configuration and move that to multiple systems while the person is on leave or something.
Uh, yes. So basically, this is a kind of setup which is kind of the substitute. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, you're right on that. Because ideally, this should be set up as a kind of a user manageable thing, right? Because, for example, application of the leaves and all those things should be done. But this is mostly for backup setup, and like this is done through the IMG guide, the implementation guide. But uh, this I'm not sure if we can. I can check on the authorization objects using which we can give maybe only this part of the processing to the users,
No,
right?
Jeet. What we want to understand is if the SAP has a standard user substitution functionality, if that gets activated, say we assign a backup substitute user over there, does this get affected into collections management?
Yes, so this is the SAP standard substitution only for this one, but at this part, right? So they are doing it via the IMG notes, right? So yeah, so that's a quite a valid question, because why when the user is going on leave or something, right? this backup, they should be able to specify themselves instead of going back to the IT specialist to do the setup, right?
Yes.
uh, yeah. So for this, right, let me just check on this part, like which are the authorization objects, because how you control this access is based on the authorization objects, right? So if those like, we can just maybe instead of going directly to this through this node, right, we can have the another transaction copy which can maybe just provide them the access to this one, that I can just maybe check back and get back to you,
Or if
right?
you
And
can check if there is a Fiori tile available, because our users don't have
yeah,
access to the backend GUI.
yes, right. So there should be
So if
actually
you
on
can
the,
have a Fiori tile, which we can give access to the users.
yes. I think yeah, I think that should be there. Let me just uh, so there is a link for the theory which I have, but I need to just check whether they have activated the CDS styles also on this one or not. No, they have not put in the, because this is kind of, yeah, so this is not set up yet, so that's the problem. No worries. So I will maybe check on this part so that like we can at least have those tiles configured so that we can also maybe get this workable for the, like from the at least from the user's standpoint also we can explain that like this they can access this through this style, and from here they can do the substitute management, right?
Yeah, and if you can let us know if the Fiori tile is available, how to get those configured and activated.
Yes, sure. So basically, what for the Fiori tiles, right? What the concept is very simple. So basically, there needs to be kind of some CDS like which has to be set up, right? So we liaise with the basis team on that, like to get those CDS set up. And once those are done, right? Maybe we can add in transactions into that tiles, or maybe we can configure how it looks and the look and feel around that one, right? So first, maybe what I will do is I will maybe get in touch with the basis person so that we can get those CDS styles set up over here. And then what I will do is we can check if we can add those T codes that the user would need to access, right, to set up the substitute and all over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, welcome.
Hey,
So
I have something to say. So I
yeah.
mean, like, this is already maintainable by SAP. So I mean, like, all you need to do is like just go to SM30 and go to the table view. I mean, like, and then you just go and maintain it. So you don't need to do anything. And maybe like you need to create an utility. I mean, like, Nikhil, I'm pinging the table in the chat window. So there is a table where you can just go and
Yeah,
just
you
maintain.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, the table is there in the meeting chat. Just go to
Okay.
SM30 and then maintain it.
Maintain that view.
So yeah, it's pretty simple. So don't worry about it.
So this one, right?
Great. Thanks for sharing this point.
Yeah. Thanks. Uh,
Just go and edit and give the collection group that you want to maintain,
Hmm.
and we can create an Fury if needed for this, but this is pretty simple.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Okay, so this is okay. So this basically this will be kind of the transaction which can be the table view which needs to be accessed, right, for this particular assignment. Correct. And yeah, so this we can yeah, we can assign to the Fiori tiles, and I will just check if the tiles can be brought up for this or not, and then we can maintain it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we just move forward from this one. So I think from the org structure setup, right? This part is very much clear at the moment. So which are the things that we need to set up in order to get started with this collection management? So we have set up the collection segment, the collection profile, and then we have set up the group for the specialist, and we have assigned the specialist under there. Now the next part that we will be going through is basically we need to understand, right, how you set up those customers master data, right, or maybe like just I think we wanted to also know, right, like how do you get start using this collection management, and how do you extend those customer master to this collection segment that we have configured, right? So first of all, we all know that the customers, like we can have a general data, we can have a company code data. In the same way, we can also have a collection segment data which can be set up, right? So let's go on to that part. So under this FSCM, right, we have the collection management. Under this, we have the master data for the customers, right? So let's say we take any of those. Let me check for one where we have the open items. So in this, basically, what we are doing is we are just extending this to the collection management module. So we have created the collection segments, right? So we just try to create. So here you can see that it is belonging to this collection profile. So all this, which are, let me just change this. It is not allowing me to change because there are some open items which has been already there. Also, there is no default group which we haven't not we had defined the groups, right? But we have not defined the default groups, right? And it's yes. So let me just go and also update it. I think this part we did not specify yet, like the assignment of the default groups to this one. So let me also do that. I think this we messed out. So I think let's assign both this group and we'll make the B2C as the default. So now basically what we are trying to do is now we will be able to extend this particular customer under this collection profile. So let's go back again. So you can also set it up. Generally what we do is once your default group and this segment is set up, right, you set up just a batch job. So at the end of the day to extend all the customers into the collection management module so that it is not a manual task at the end of the day. So yeah, so as you can see, right, so by default it is getting assigned to this collection group B2C, right? And you can also maybe like for some particular customer, right, if you want to have a special handling, so only one collection specialist will be following up every time they have it. So that you can also do under this collection management profile in the BP, right? And then they have the other parameters which are kind of defaulted from the company code data, but you have the option to like uh, actually not only from the company code data, it also has the general data, because as you can see, right, you have the bank keys as well as the bank account being populated. So for example, when you have reached out to the customers, right, they told like this time they want to make a payment from this particular account, or maybe have a auto deduct set up from this account, or maybe they have a card number also which they want to use. Generally we do not store the card number over here due to the kind of because for the personal data compliance, right, so we are not allowed to store the card, the entire 16-digit card number along with the uh, expiry date and the ID right over here. So either it is masked, or we kind of use some other profile like MCAS ID or something like that to store the payment card details, right? So you have this option when you build the collection management maintenance data, right? So you have the option to set up like for this particular collection profile, when if the customer tells you that okay, I want to maybe use this bank key for the collection, so we will be seeing using the work list how you access this T code and update those bank accounts at this particular screen. Okay. So what we are doing is at the moment we are extending this particular business partner, right, sorry, to this particular collection segment. And when we do this, right, it automatically gets assigned to the default collection group under this collection segment. We have the option to change it, and then you can also assign the respective specialist for this. This part is clear, right?
So so for the business partner, you're assigning a segment, right? It looks like. Are you also assigning a profile?
No. So what we are doing is, okay. So first of all, when we were, yeah. So what is the profile and what is the segment? So first of all, segments are defined as per the credit control area, right? Like for
Yeah,
example, over
I
here.
get that. Go back to the Oracle, please. Yeah, I'm just connecting some dots for myself. If you go back to the Oracle screen,
Which one?
the or
This
you
one.
here. So that that collection prof, would it that's the is that the profile that basically is coming from the segment that's assigned down there, right? Because
Yes. So basically, for collection management, right, you can define this collection profiles. Like collection profile is used to distinguish which are the company codes which are participating in the collection management and which are not, right? So that's the reason we have just maybe we have set up this particular collection profile, and under this profile we can have multiple segments, right?
okay.
So, Jean, I think the question is, how is this collection profile gets assigned? Is it based on the company code setup,
No, we select it.
or you
So
have to select it?
yes,
Okay.
right.
So
So for
I think
example, there is one.
yeah,
Yeah,
the default one automatically gets provided, and then you select it for anything required to
yeah.
be created or added.
Yeah. So for example, initially it was this one. I have changed it to this. So if I maybe make it this, right, it will go back to this one. See, this is one of the under this profile you have this segment selected, right?
Here's just a
So
dumb question. So for an SAP, does a customer have a one-to-one relationship with a company code?
no. So
No.
basically, one customer can be used for multiple company codes as well.
Okay, got it, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So so in this way, like let's say this particular customer, right, it is also extended to 1800, maybe another company code which does not use the collection profile. So basically that means in there, right, you won't be able to assign this collection profile at all. Okay.
Okay.
And we save this. So basically it's just like another like master data which we had for our customers. So basically what we do is, so our customer will have our general data, right? Then you have the company code data, which is the finance data, and then you have the collection management data also. And then we will see like this collection management data, it draws up some data from here as well as here, right? So we will see, right, if let's say once the collection management specialist contacts this customer, right, over here, right, so they will be also able to kind of maybe get in additional bank details, or maybe enter the bank account from which maybe they will need to set up some kind of auto deduct or something like that, right? So those kind of things that we will also see how it's done, maybe even during the actual transaction booking. Okay, so this is the first step of the transaction. So what we have done is, at the moment, so we have first done the master data synchronization, where first we have created the business partner, and we have extended this business partner to this collection profile, right? Now the thing is, what we will do is, mm,
Hey, I have a question for you.
yeah,
So, how do you do this for multiple vendors, like at the time of
multiple
migration?
customers, so or multiple business partners, I would say.
Yeah.
uh, so basically we set up a batch job for this one. So we have this program for this activities, right? So you can under this program, right, you can you basically kind of set up like all the list of customers for which you want to extend to this collection segment, right? Right. I think you can do this here as well. So here, for example, you can see, you can mention business partner from this range to this range, and then you can enter this collection profile and can assign it to them here,
Okay.
right? You
Got
can set up the badge job for this.
got it. Got it. No issues.
Okay,
Thanks.
and this is generally kind of done as at the end of the day, or maybe at whatever period, like when your customer gets created, all the customer gets created for the day, you can you can run this particular job to assign them to the collection profile. Okay. Okay, so now the thing which will come up is, now we will be uh, kind of okay. So let's go back to our strategy, right? The collection strategy, what we have. Based on that, we will see how we can maybe use that strategy to get those open items for this customer which has been created into our work list, right? Okay, so this was the strategy that we had initially used. So, so this was the what we had configured is, first is the broken promises to pay. If there be some broken promises which they have done, then only they will start following up on this customers, right? So let's try to amend this, because till now I think we have not started, so there is no question if the promises are broken or not. We just keep it blank. We just specify that those overdue items, right, which are for amount 5,000 to 100,000, those will be considered, and it has to be more than 20 days overdue. Then only this particular customers will be considered when creating the work list. Okay. So, so are you clear with this? For this collection strategy, at the moment, we are only keeping this two as these two filter criteria, and we are keeping this level of promises broken, or the total amount which has been promised, as blank, right? We save this. Okay, so now let's generate the work list over here.
So, I mean, like in general, right? The generation of work list is done by the users, right?
The generation of the work list is done by the system, actually, and then assignment, right, of those work lists to the respective specialist is done by the manager. But what we will be also like maybe looking forward is how this assign, because we already know, right, this belongs to which group and which is the specialist assigned. So by default, yes, all those work lists which belongs to customer A will be automatically routed to the specialist. So this is what I have shown here in my BP setup, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. There is a name there. I got that
Yes.
point.
Yeah, right. So basically using that approach, right, by default, the collection like manager, right, do not need to assign that work list to the respective specialist, but it will be automatically done by the system, right, when you generate the work list. Okay. So the generation of the work list is done by the system, not by the users. Is that clear? That does that answer your question?
So one question. So the once the work list is generated, it'll be going to the specialist based on your screen, right? Whatever you're showing in the config.
Yes,
So
right.
let's say if we have more than one specialist and that list has to be assigned to multiple users.
Yeah, so then you need to leave it blank, this one.
Oh,
So for example, for a particular customer, so it can be followed up by different specialists, right? So it
correct.
need not be based on only one specialist. So you can just leave this blank, right? So then the collection manager can choose to which specialist it gets assigned to.
Okay. So by default, if it's blank, then this list generated list always goes to kind of a manager.
Yeah, so it's basically going to the collection group. So the in the
Collection
collection group,
group. Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
that
So
within the
that
group we assign all to the user, so it may go to all, right?
Yes, right. So then from there it can be assigned, like, because like for example, if there are multiple items, right, like let's say thousands of open items which are there, right? Now, if all the 1,000 open items appear in each one's work list, right, does not make sense, right? Because then
Mhm.
everybody will be following up on the same open items,
Got it. Okay.
right? Right. So that's the reason the supervisor, right, will be assigning those open items to the respective specialist. So let's say there are 1,000 open items, maybe 300 they assign to one, 300 to another, and 400 to the other one,
Okay.
something like that. But
Okay.
if you already have the specialist name specified over here, that means this particular customer is maybe managed by a one particular specialist, maybe due to they can be due to various reasons, right? Because these are very high valued customer, or maybe they they have a separate treatment altogether for this particular customer due to various reasons. So in those cases, right, the specialist name will be assigned over here. But most of the cases you will find that the specialist name is blank because it can be generic, and the supervisor can decide whom they will assign it to.
Okay.
Okay, good. So now let's go back. So I have kept it blank here. Now, so you can see there are two roles, specialist and supervisor. So first, what we'll do is first we'll generate the work list, right? So which was our collection segment? This was our collection segment, right? So we just start this. So all those work lists are valid from this one, from 14/7. So it will just check the from this date, like which are the open items which can be allocated. Okay, and now we just release this. Mm, So it's completed already. Where did it assign? It is not clear. Oh, okay. Okay, so basically this particular
Hey,
uh,
can you run this job only for the one business partner for which you maintain? So this issue, we don't. I think that is it not possible.
yeah, so this work list basically you do not run for a particular customer, so it is run for a particular segment actually. So all those segments, right, where you have this customer created or assigned, right? So it will be running for all of them, right? So that's how it works. Let me just check if I can just run it for this segment. So just to show it to you. Yes, still we are having the same message.
Basically, it tells you that those partners that's appearing here for you, you haven't maintained the credit management details, the collection management details. You can take,
No,
right?
no, there is a this role is not created, right? No, so with this category we have not maintained, but we have already extended that customer to the collection management, right? For example, here when we had for this customer, right? If you see, I had already extended my collection management data. Right, for this collection profile, I have maintained this data
But
over here.
check something from the log. Take one of the business partner from the log and check whether the collection profile is maintained for the business partner. The log you showed me like earlier, right?
Yeah. One job started, or maybe I will just start it online. Yeah, so this has got completed. Yeah. So these are the different, like, it is not calling up that customer number, right, which we have assigned. You see, all the other customer numbers, like, for example, there are some, these are the business partners numbers, right? And the number that we have is 1710001.
Then look for the success records. Is it appearing in the success? Because you are looking for the error, right? Look for the
Yeah. Yeah, right. There are 0 entries at the moment. Okay, let me just try to create a new entry maybe for this particular customer and then try to reassign it. Okay, I think that way it will be better. Or maybe there is no, yeah, there are open items as of this state. So let me just take this.
your condition is more than 5,000. So look at it. Is it
Mm,
satisfied? 5,000?
no, it's not satisfied here.
Yeah, then
Yes,
you have to
so
change
I
it.
will just, yeah, I will just change the amount. Right. So, and also it has to be more than 20 days overdue, right? So let me just do a post dated invoice, like the backdated invoice over here. Okay, so I will put as okay. So I have posted this item. The moment. So let me see. Yeah, so we have 5,300 as the open item over here, and if you try to see the like the line, yeah, here. Let me refresh. So you can see that it is the document date is this, and let me just also get the net due date and the number of overdue dates. Overdue is overdue. Okay. So basically, as you can see here, for this is overdue by more than 20 days, right? So it is the net due date is 34, It is over. So this should be in my work list. So let's try to regenerate now. Start online. Okay, 0 entries still. This,
Can you go to the document you created for a moment?
yeah. Yeah, this was the one.
Is your credit segment get populated? I mean, like the collections profile or segment gets populated in the line item, like the posting key 01 on the credit end.
Yeah.
Can you see
No,
that?
because it should not get right here. Because the thing is, we just group together the company codes under that particular segment, right? And then from there it should work. Because this is not a field in my line item details.
Okay. I think you're missing some step if it's not picking up.
Yes, that's correct. Because we have already done all the backend, like all the configuration. Basically, the only thing is the strategy we have already assigned. We have, yeah, the number of overdue days also we have specified. Also, the like we have assigned the org structure to the customer. Why it does not get picked up? That is a, yeah, that is a bit weird over here.
So how is the collection profile and strategies linked?
So basically, under your collection, okay. So first of all, under your collection profile, you have the collection segments, right? So under your collection segments, you have the collection groups, correct?
Okay.
So now this collection groups are assigned to the collection specialists, correct? So
Yeah.
those collection specialists, and under the collection group, when you assign to the collection specialist, we can adopt different strategies for different groups, correct? So for example, for the B2C customer, we adopt the collection strategy one. Yeah, I think there is one thing which I guess which we have not done yet. Basically, we have not transferred from the account receivable to the collection management, right? I think this is missing. So let me just do that right now. So I think for 1710 we have done this. So if I want to do a customer specific transfer, that also can be done. So let's do that way. Just we want to check for this customer. So basically what we are doing is we have already got the data booked into FIAR. Now we are transferring this to the collection management. So let's do a test run first. Okay, so it is doing the transfer. Let me check if my item is included there or not. 5,300, it is there. See, this is getting transferred. Right, so let me just now remove the test run. Okay, so all this open items has been transferred into collection management. Now let me try this over here. Now, so when I generate this work list, it should automatically come to this group, B2C group that we have created, correct? So this is my segment, and I will start online. No, the upper limit. What is the upper limit? Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, this filter criteria is somehow we have it here. Mm, so this is something which is kind of we are stuck at the moment. Is basically we have created the AR open item. We have sent it to the collection management module over here, but when we try to regenerate this, it is not coming up in the work list because so there is the reason is also clear at the moment is because when we put the filter criteria, we need to update the filter criteria for this one. So because now the lower limit is this and the upper limit is this, right? So we should be able to update this as well. Let me try to. No, there should be kind of out for this. Maybe I will just let me check on this part, and maybe maybe we'll just update you on this as well. So so basically, then so that as a part of the step, right? What we have done is at the moment is we have maybe extended our customer to the collection management, and we have transferred the open items from our FIAR to the collection management. Now the next thing which we need to work on is basically is to generate on the work list for that particular collection segment. So which we will do it at the maybe the subsequent classes, right? So let me just try to figure it out, especially on this part. Why like well, I need to update the filter criteria for the creation of the work list so that it gets generated. So that is the only thing which is pending, right? So and once we
How
have
would
this,
you
we will
update
be
the
yes.
filter criteria for the work list? Is that a config step?
No, it's not a config step. Actually, this is kind of the steps which are done basically by the collection supervisor. So it is not a config.
Okay.
Yeah. So we need to just update the like over here, right? But like for which customer we need to generate the work list. So I think there is a kind of range which has been put up and which does not fit in for the customer number which we have selected.
So that's my question. Where is that range put up, and how would you change it? Is
Yeah,
there
so
a
that's what.
transaction code you change it?
Yeah, it should be like under here only. So there should be a place for this one. So which I need to just maybe figure it out over here. So because in this particular variant, right, we don't have the customer number which is displayed over here. So it should be we need to modify that variant, and then we need to specify our own customer range, which is not a config. I would say it is kind of a like the transaction which is carried out by the business users. But yes, so that but unfortunately the customer the BP numbers we are not getting in the input screen. So
So
we need to update.
when you figure it out tomorrow, would you let us know what transaction code you use?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so definitely we will be because it will be through here only, but we will definitely let you know. Yeah,
Okay.
that will be. Yeah, so that should be part of our discussion tomorrow as well. Okay. I think without that, right, it won't be kind of it won't be justified to proceed, right? Because once you generate the work list, then only you can begin the kind of the tasks which on them, right? So so just to go through the things that we have covered at the moment is first of all we have covered this part, right? The basic rules. I think till this part we have already like the config part we have covered. So now well, from the processing part we need to just start on. with those changes, right? So we generate the work list, and we have already, I think this two we have already completed. The activation of the collection management, I have shown it to you, right? Like where do we activate, and which how do we indicate that these are the company codes included in my collection management, right? So for the next classes, what I will do is maybe I will just prepare the first of all, I will sort out that particular error for the work list generation, right? And then what I will do is once we get to the work list, right, we will be looking into the different sub functions which the user will have, and also we will see like how you assign those RMS IDs further, like because this is something which is kind of a flow on after this work list is generated. So that's the reason we will be able to continue this two steps after that, right? And once you have the items appearing in the specialist work list, right, we will be also making the settings for the promise to pay. So so those things will follow up as a part of our next sessions. Okay. So yeah, so so that's it maybe for today we have.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.